ما أنزل على الملكين ببابل هاروت وماروت وما يعلمان من أحد حتى يقولا إنما نحن فتنة فلا تكفر فيتعلمون منهما ما يفرقون به بين المرء وزوجه وما هم بضارين به من أحد إلا بإذن الله ويتعلمون ما يضرهم ولا ينفعهم ولقد علموا لمن اشتراه ما له في الآخرة من خلاق وَلَبِئْسَ مَا شَرَوْا بِهِ أَنفُسَهُمْ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. So in that verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says what means, rather instead, they embraced what the devils recited and spread in the kingdom of Solomon. Solomon did not disbelieve, nor was he guilty of blasphemy, but it was the devils who disbelieved, teaching sorcery to people. And that which had been revealed to the two angels who descended to Babylon, Harut and Marut. They, the two angels, never taught anyone before first impressing upon them, stressing upon them, we are but a trial for people, so do not disbelieve by learning magic from us. Yet people learned a form of sorcery from them. They learned a form of sorcery from them that caused a rift between husband and wife, although their magic could not harm anyone except by Allah's will. They learned what harmed them and did not benefit them, while knowing full well that whoever buys into magic would have no share in the hereafter. Miserable indeed was the price for which they sold their souls, if they only knew. So, during the time of the Prophet Muhammad, a number of the Jewish residents of Al-Medina and the surrounding area practiced sorcery and witchcraft. They were known for casting spells. They were known for basically doing different things that would harm people. People would hire them and pay them money to cast a spell on this person, or a person would be concerned about his wife maybe drifting away from him. How can I make my wife obsessed with me? These types of things. They did these things, and they were also soothsayers, people who people would go to, and they would ask them about al-ghaib. They would ask them about, for example, what will happen to me in the future, read my fortune, these types of things. There were people who were known for this. And when they were criticized for their practices, they claimed that Allah had revealed the art of sorcery and witchcraft by way of Jibreel and Mikael to Solomon, the son of David. So basically, they tried to legitimize what they were doing. They were told, hey, how can you practice magic? That's haram. What are you doing? And they said, no, it's not haram. Witchcraft and sorcery was something that Allah sent down with two of the greatest angels, Jibreel and Mikael, and sent it to who? One of the greatest prophets, Sulaiman. Y'all see that? This legitimizes it. If it was bad, Allah wouldn't give it to these angels to give to this prophet. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they started saying this and making these wild claims, Allah revealed these verses to debunk their claims and belie them. So Allah revealed the verses that we just read to do what? To refute the claim that Allah revealed magic to Jibreel and Mikael and sent it down to Solomon. Allah neither revealed sorcery nor sent it down from heaven by way of Jibreel and Mikael, and Solomon would never be guilty of anything that could be referred to as kufr. And as you can see from the ayat, and we're going to get into it, magic, sorcery, witchcraft, all of its kinds are what? Are kufr. And of course, a prophet would never be guilty of doing anything that could be considered kufr. So now the question is, what happened? What did happen? Okay? And from where did these Jews, or upon what did these Jews base their claim that magic is something what? Not just legitimate, it's something divine. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا, rather instead, they embraced what the devil recited and spread it in the kingdom of Solomon, right? Solomon didn't disbelieve, the devil disbelieved, and these people had embraced what they thought was from the kingdom of Solomon. So basically, since time immemorial, the shayateen, the devils, the minions of shaitan, they had this practice of going up to what? As high as they could in the heavens. And then trying to do what? Eavesdrop. Trying to hear what the angels would talk about from awamirillah, right? The commands of Allah and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about was going to ultimately happen on earth, the decrees of Allah. So Allah would decree that, for example, this person would pass away. this person would be born. This incident would happen. This war would be fought, right? This war would be fought. This earthquake would occur, right? Natural disasters, whatever it was. They would eavesdrop. And then they would come back to Earth, and they would interact with certain humans and give them what? The information that they had been told. People who wanted to claim knowledge of the unseen. People with wicked intent. They would tell them these things, these soothsayers, these fortune tellers, and those fortune tellers would go and tell the people. They would go and tell the people, and then the things that they told the people would happen just as they said. And so this earned those soothsayers a certain level of credibility, and those soothsayers became utterly dependent upon who? These shayateen. They don't have any way to get the information, so they became ultimately dependent upon them, and they basically became slaves to them and at their mercy. So these shayateen, who never had a good intention in the first place, they started to continue to eavesdrop. But when they would come and tell the soothsayers the things that they would tell them, with every truth they would mix 70 lies. You guys see that? And so the soothsayers would tell the people some things, and some of what they would say would happen, and much of what they would say wouldn't happen. But the people would focus on what happened. Exactly. Because why? Because the other times they said that things were right, so they would focus on whatever they said that was right and forget about the things that they say which are untrue. And this is the truth of what a fortune teller. This is the truth of fortune telling, right? You hear people say, "Oh, Nostradamus was a prophet. Nostradamus was a prophet. Nostradamus," right? And then they'll say, "See, he said this." And whatever he said, it would be like partly true. It won't be entirely true, but there parts of it would be true. And they'll say, "Oh, see?" Yeah. Right? Part of it was true. And then Nostradamus had other predictions. Hundreds of them. And none of them came true. One or two of them, parts of what he said came true. People focus on that. So they gained a certain level of credibility. And these shayateen started to do what? Started to betray them and mix 70 truth. But what ultimately happened when the people of the time, the children of Israel, they saw that these people would, have a nugget of truth here, a nugget of truth there, and how do they know these things? So then these soothsayers started saying that the jinn, they know the unseen. The jinn have this special power of knowing the unseen, and this became what? Become widespread and adopted belief amongst what? Bani Israel. So ultimately, when that happened, and it reached Suleiman that people were saying this, Suleiman investigated and found out that there were what? There were books in which these predictions and the different incantations or whatever the people were doing at that time that were part of their witchcraft, the lexicon or the canon of witchcraft, he confiscated all those books and he buried them under his what? Under his throne. And he told the people, he said, if I hear anybody saying that the jinn know the unseen, I will cut off his head, which lets you know right there that that's kufr. It is kufr to say that anyone knows the unseen besides who? Besides Allah. So what happened was, when he put it in the box and buried it under his throne, there were some of the shayateen who tried to do what? To gain access to it. Right? When nobody was watching, they would try to gain access. But every time any shaitan came close to it, he would be engulfed in flames and be burned alive. Right? So nobody would try to, obviously when this happened a few times, nobody would what? Try to take the books. But ultimately, Suleiman, he did what? He passed away. But there remained certain scholars and knowledgeable people who knew the whole history, knew what happened, and knew what was buried under those thrones and why they were buried there. But when a long time passed and those scholars perished, the shaitan came back to the people in the form of a man. And he said, should I direct you and guide you to a treasure that is so full of wealth and riches that you'll never be able to consume it? Right? It's enough money for your children and your children's children, your children's children's children. And imagine if you told some people that, especially people who are what? They're naturally covetous. They were like, yeah, we want that. So he guided them where? To the throne of Suleiman. And told them, dig underneath this throne and you'll find the treasure that I told you about. So they went there. And then he did what? he went off to the side. Why did he go off to the side? He didn't know what was going to happen. He didn't know if what? This thing of people being burned alive, was it something specific to the life of Suleiman? So now that he's gone, people won't burn. Or is it something that God gave him that will be what? To the end of time. Anybody gets close to this, they'll burn. I don't know what's going to happen. So if somebody's going to get burned, it's not going to be me. So he went off to the side. He went off to the side, and they said, come close, show us. He said, no, it's right there, just dig. And he said, just dig there, and if you don't find it, you can kill me. Right? If you don't find the treasure as I promised, you can kill me. So they dug, and nobody got burned. They dug, and sure enough, what? They brought out those books. Yep. And they adopted those books, and they passed them down generation after generation, until what? Until the time of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And those Jews who he met, who were practicing witchcraft, and when they were criticized for it, they said, no, this was what? This was revealed to Solomon. These books were given to Solomon, because that's what the devil told them. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed what? Revealed these verses to debunk those claims, and to establish the truth that it wasn't Jibreel, it wasn't Mikael, and it wasn't Solomon. Right? It wasn't Solomon, and it wasn't something that Allah revealed like he revealed the scriptures, but rather it was something that he tested the people with, and it's kufr. And this is what the verses basically will expand on. And we'll, inshallah ta'ala, expand on the meaning of the verses and what they tell us about magic next week, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those who listen to the talk and follow the best of it. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا. Don't forget, guys, this morning we have community service, and today is the shindig. Today's a big day for us. Everybody come, be a part of it. Let's